Hello, my YouTube world. Johnny Mo for 2017, baby. First video. I know you guys are excited out there. I know you guys, some of you guys really like those plowing videos. I'm going to do a couple more here. It's not really a how-to. It's just how I. It's not how to do something. It's how I do something. And hopefully you can pick up something that may help you. It may not help you. And I watch a lot of videos. I try to pick up little points and tips from everyone on YouTube. And I just enjoyed it. And I just want to thank everyone for going along with the ride with me, for putting up with my poor camera work. If I had a complaint, that's probably the number one complaint I have is, your camera sucks, Johnny. And I've said this before, this isn't going to be the channel that's going to have drones flying over. And there's nothing wrong with drones. I enjoy watching a drone video, or I'm not going to spend hours editing a video and trying to upload it. This is just from my iPhone 6 to YouTube. Usually under 15 minutes. I'll barely edit a video. Unless I really don't like something, I'll chop it and put something in it. It's not going to happen. And it's more informational. It's to help people out. It's my way to give back for my 20 years of service in this industry. And just want to say thanks, guys. Thank you for following me through all the ups and downs, the health problems, the having employees, 2 crews, to now being solo, and just enjoying that ride and coming with me along with that ride. And hopefully over the years of this channel, you'll get to learn some stuff. I know I'm learning from you guys out there. So again, it's not a how-to, it's a how-I. And so today, I want to do a special video. I want to give you an update on health. I just had my 6-month checkup after all of last year's health problems I had. I am finally off blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure is in the normal range. I was just taken off 2 weeks ago. I lost over 20 pounds last year, 23, a little bit over 23 pounds. I try to walk every day, try to eat right. Definitely a thing that I definitely want to concentrate more on this year is losing even more weight. Love what Top Notch is doing with the beard and the mile a day thing. I love that. I love when guys put themselves out there and do that. But anyway, that's my health update. That's what's going on. Hope you're enjoying the plowing series that we're doing. But today, I want to thinking about what video I want to put out there today. And it's going to be kind of motivational, but it's going to be practical. I'm a very practical person. I'm very motivational, and I'm big on it because I know all of you guys out there, you're 2017, you're out there, you want to jump. About a year ago, Steve Harvey put out a video that was called Jump, and now he's written a book about it. And it was very inspirational. It just went viral. And he's talked about it a couple times. I've watched some interviews. I've heard some reviews of the book. And he talks about that experience of the jump. And I'm telling you, this is great. The whole thing about jumping. I'm big on jumping. I'm big on it. Like, you got to make that jump sometime. And there's a lot of you guys right now who are in the process of starting your business. And you're about to make the jump. But I want to put a little bit of a backside to jump. And I want to use an example of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we used to have this place. We're well known around here for waterfalls. When I was a kid, we have a place here locally that has about a 25 to 30 foot waterfall. Very beautiful, awesome waterfall. We have another place where there's a 50-foot waterfall. And I want to use an example. When I was a kid, this creek, it's called Big Run. It's very small creek. Like, you can walk across this creek, probably 96-7% of it is probably only this deep. It's a little creek, but when it comes right to this spot, it goes through a little canyon, and it just cascades down into a little pool of water. That little pool of water, I would say the creek is probably 12 feet wide, maybe 15, about 12 feet wide. And in this canyon, must have years ago, this big, huge rock fell. And the rock goes like this. It kind of slides down into the water. Well, in this canyon, on the one side, you can walk down, and it just drops down to about 8 foot. And then this side goes from about 1 foot all the way down to it meets. So there's about 8 foot of water right here in the middle. So if you're jumping, you probably got a 4-foot space right here to jump. So you got to jump right in the middle to get that 8 foot of water. You jump a little bit too far over here, you're going to hit that rock. You jump a little too far, you're going to hit the sides. So it's not a very big spot, 4 foot, 5 foot maybe, where you got that little space. If you jump off and you go, whoosh, you got that. And if you hit that spot, it's great, man. It's the fun thing. You're dropping 25, 30 feet in the air. Cowabunga! And it's a lot like business. It's like, yes, jump, I'm jumping. Steve Harvey said, you got to jump. The backside of that is the circumstances that you don't see after you jump. I believe in jumping, but I believe that there's a right time to jump. I believe sometimes people fail because they jump in at the wrong time. I believe the circumstances aren't good at that time for you to jump. And these are things that you have to evaluate. So I'm going to use the story of this waterfall and how I enjoyed it as a kid, but there's a backside to it where it can be very unenjoyable. Now, so as a kid in September around here, it's still hot. A bunch of us guys would just leave school. It's hot. Let's go to the falls. You know, you're not supposed to jump. But here's the funny thing about jumping. Even if the cops would come, you're jumping into a canyon, first of all. The cops ain't climbing down the side of the canyon to get you. Here's another thing, though. When you jump and you land, everything's fine. But coming out, you have to go up this little stone path. Then you got to climb up the side. It's a process. So the fun of jumping is great, but the process of getting out is not so great. Now, if the cops come, we used to just run downstream, because right after you get out of that little pool of 8 foot water, it goes back to about the knee high. It's about this deep. And then you're just running downstream. They're never going to chase you because it's in a canyon. And that's a neat idea to jump into business. But sometimes it's not the smart thing to do. See, sometimes when you jump and you don't know what's down there, you hurt yourself. Like not knowing, like the smart thing to do before you jump. Say you're by yourself and you're at this waterfall. I'm going to jump. I don't know. You're looking down. You don't know how deep the waterfall is. You don't know how deep the water is. You can't tell. There's a rock that's coming down like this. You don't know where that rock is. There's another waterfall in town. It's a 50-foot drop. Now, you're thinking, wow, that's got to be deep down there. I walked across that waterfall. It was only this deep the whole way across. If you jump off that 50-foot waterfall, you're dead. Now, if you don't know where that 8 foot of water is, that little 4-foot span, and you go too far to the right, and boom, you splatter. And they say, well, John, that's taking a chance in life. Sometimes decisions that you make can affect you for the rest of your life. Sometimes the decisions that you make could affect you so much it just destroys your life because you jump without ever knowing what's down there. So you need to come down the rock path, swim around. Okay, there's 8 foot of water. This is good. I'm going back up. We're going to jump. Sometimes we jump at the wrong time. Sometimes we jump when the river is so swollen, but you're so fired up and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go jump. 2017 is my year. I've waited so long. I'm jumping. I'm going down there right now. They're going to go down there and they're going to jump off the fall. Sometimes that little creek becomes a roaring river. And I mean, when I say roaring, it's a 25 to 30 foot drop. But sometimes when that creek is up, it's only a 10-foot drop. So the water's plenty deep, but you're not going to swim in that water. There's some things that you have to know before you jump. There's some basic principles that you need to know. You need to know how to swim. You need to know, is it conducive to me being able to go through and safely get out? But Johnny, we're making that decision and we're going to do it. We're going to make it work. Sometimes you get yourself in a situation you can't get out of. There's a little creek here. It's called the Slippery Rock Creek. A lot of people die in this creek. They go to this one particular rock and they jump off. But if the current is just even a little bit too swift, what happens is when they're underwater, the current pushes them under the rock and it locks them in there and they die right there. Every year, 2 to 3 people die at this one particular spot. Why? They don't know what they're doing. I don't want to see that for you in business. If you go down to this particular waterfall, Big Run. It's beautiful. It's great. It's fun to jump in. I've done it thousands. I wouldn't say thousands. Probably hundreds though. Hundreds. And I know where to jump. I know how to get up out of there. You got to weigh the cost. Are you willing to climb the side of the cliff? Because if not, you're going to be stuck in the canyon wondering, what did I just get myself into? Are you willing to pay the cost? Steve Harvey said he jumped. And when he jumped, he was homeless for 3 years. That's in his book. He made a decision to jump, and he was homeless for 3 years. Can you last 3 years? There's many people that should not jump. You're listening to this video right now. It's 2017. You're not in the right circumstances to jump and be successful. What I'm saying is the river might be too swift. You jump off, the river takes you downstream, and you don't know how to swim. You just jumped, and your whole life's a wreck. You've wrecked your life for the next 15, 20 years. And then 20 years from now, you put a gun to your head because you don't understand what just happened to myself. What happened? I jumped because everyone told me to jump. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was doing it. They'd come to school and they told me how fun it was to jump. But then all of a sudden you jump, you missed, you hit the rock, you broke your legs. Now you're sitting up in a hospital for 6 months. Both your legs are broken because you jumped and did not know where to jump, did not know how to swim, did not know how to get up out of there. And then all of a sudden you're wondering why your life is the way it is because you jumped. Because you listened to something, a motivational speaker told you to jump. Just go jump and figure it out. And sometimes it works. But 98% of the time, the people who jump and have no experience. You're jumping into business, but you've never cut a lawn. You're jumping into business, but you have no idea how to cut a lawn. You have no idea what equipment to use. You have no idea about anything, but you watched a couple YouTube videos. Or you were on plow site or lawn site. And now all of a sudden you're jumping because everyone's successful. I can tell you that being in this industry for 20 years, I don't know how long I worked for that company. My first induction to this business, I worked for a company. I started in 1996. I started cutting grass in 1996 for this company. And then I picked up 2 lawns on the side. That's how I started. And listen, I charged my aunt $10 and the next door neighbor $12. It was $22. It was an every 10-day cut. And I had 2 lawns that year, and that's it. That's how I got into this business. And in 1997 was not even any better. It wasn't any better. I mean, I had a couple more lawns. That's it. I was on the side, but I was learning how to do the business from this company. In 1998, though, I figured out I could make money doing this. In 1996 and 1997, I would say, I was helping my aunt out. But what happened was the people that knew my aunt, I was cutting grass really cheap, so I was thinking, okay, she got me more. She got me a couple more. And it was just side money. I wasn't really thinking about Johnny's Mowing in 1996 and 1997. But in 1998, I thought, whoa, I can make money at this. But see, I was going through a process, and what happened was I was learning from the company I worked for how to do something. Oh, okay, that's how you do that. Oh, that's how you weed whack. Oh, if I would have jumped in 1990s, I would have crashed and burned. This would have never happened. That sign on the wall right there, all the things that I've accomplished through the blessing of God, first of all, but also this business, it would have never happened. There are pivotal times in your life where you're going to need to make the jump. There were times in high school that I would go down to that spot, and I'm like, this is a day I'm going to jump off this waterfall, because I was a little afraid of it. You know, a lot of people were jumping, but they knew right where the spot was. They knew how to get up out of there. It's not a big deal, but it was time like, oh, but today's the day. And then I jumped, because what? I seen enough people do it. I knew how to swim. I knew how to get out of the canyon now. And then I jumped. First time jump, wow, I was so scared. I made it. It was awesome. You know, by the end of it, see, here's the thing. When you know where the spot is, and you know you do it so many times, it's easy. That's why when a guy comes on here with 20 years experience or 15 years experience or whatever the experience you may be, and then all of a sudden it sounds so easy because we've done it so many times. We know where the spot is. Before, we were trying to climb higher up the canyon to get even more. By the end of it, we were jumping 40, 50 feet. We were running down a trail we made, jumping out. Now, we would have never did that at first. But that's why when you see someone on the internet or you read something, they make it sound so simplistic because they've done it. They've seen it. They've done it so many times. But the same thing that they can do with these could kill you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That not every time you hear something motivational, or not every time, you got to know how to swim. The environment might not be right for you to start a business. It doesn't mean you can't start a business or you shouldn't. It's just the environment right now might not be the right time. The river's swollen. The waterfall, it's only a 10-foot drop. That means that river's roaring through there. You'll die if you do it. You'll die. You'll die if you don't know where that little 8-foot swath is. I'm going to take you back to when I was just a little kid. I'd say I was around 12 or 13. And around here we have lots of stone quarries, old quarries. Very deep, 250, 275 feet quarries. And it was real hot summer, and that's what we did. We'd all get punched, grab into a car. We went out to this quarry, and there was a little 8-foot little cliff. We used to jump in, swim out to the middle. Well, one of the guys that were with us, there's probably about 13 or 14 of us. He was older. He was 16 or 17, and he was the driver. We hung out. I knew his brother, and we brought my friends, and he brought a bunch of friends. Well, everyone was jumping in and going out. Everyone was jumping in and going out. We're all out there having fun, having a great time. We never knew he did not know how to swim. We never knew this. But for some reason, that young man decided to jump off the cliff and jump into water that was ranging 275 foot deep. About 3 hours later, divers found him 250 feet down, surrounded in seaweed. We never knew he didn't know how to swim. But everyone else was jumping. Everyone else was having fun. And I think at that moment, he didn't realize how deep it was. Or maybe I can just have fun. So as we start 2017, I pray that you make the right decision. I pray that you're watching all kinds of YouTube videos. I pray that you're getting your numbers right. I pray that this is the best year of your life. I also pray that you understand that once you jump, you can't take it back. When Steve Harvey jumped, there was no parachute. He was homeless for 3 years. Once you jump, is there a way to get out of the situation? What if I broke my legs and I was by myself because I decided to jump and I just laid in that water? What if I jumped and didn't know how to swim? What if I misjudged the current like so many people do at the Slippery Rock Creek? They jump into that water, the undercurrent drags them right under a rock and they can't get out. What happens? That's what I don't want from you. And that's exactly why this channel exists. I'm not telling you shouldn't jump. I'm just asking you to use my childhood experience in the waterfall. It's a great jump. It's been a great ride since 1996. But I can tell you, 1996 was my 2 hold-ons. If I would have jumped full-blown, quit my job, and I'm going after Johnny's mowing, it would not be here today. It wasn't the right environment. I didn't know how to swim. I didn't even know how to get out. And if you're at all not mentally tough, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm not the most mentally tough guy. Because there's times where I'll be out there and I'll just cry because the business pressure is so tough. And sometimes you're thinking, like you get caught in a current and you're wondering, how am I going to get out of it? Like you'll get caught in some business situations that you just, how am I going to get out of it? And it's because of the years and understanding, this is how I'm getting out. This is what I'm going to do. If you're not understanding of your circumstances and you jump, you could lose everything. It could affect you. I always say this. The decisions you make in the next 10 minutes could affect the next 10 years. One of my favorite lines is proper planning prevents poor performance. So before you jump, I'm not saying you shouldn't jump. I'm saying before we read books and before we just listen to people off the cuff and go make decisions that are devastating. If you ever been to like an Amway thing or anything that's like, one of those marketing things, where it's like a pyramid stuff where you sell so much and then you get so many people underneath you to sell so much. You leave there, you honestly believe that you can do it. And then you jump in, and then all of a sudden you waste the next 6 months not knowing that 98% of the people fail. 80% of them fail. You know what I mean? It's like I used to say this about dating. If you knew that 98% for sure that when you walk outside you're going to get hit by a car and get killed, would you go take the 98? Would you be that one person to go out there and get hit by that car? There's only a 2% chance. It's high school dating. Only 98% of the couples make it from high school to marriage. 98%. I mean, 98% chance you're going to break up. 95% all the way up to a sophomore in college. After that, the percentages drop greatly. So sometimes when you're in high school, do you really want to take the chance? Like I tell young girls all the time, do you really want to take the chance? I mean, you're gonna give a piece of your heart to him, and a piece of your heart to him, and a piece of your heart to him. Why not just take your time and enjoy life? Have fun with your friends. Use the statistics to your advantage. If 70% of all businesses fail, make sure that when you do jump, it's a better circumstance. Make sure that the river's not roaring. You know what I mean? Make sure that the river is not roaring so bad that once you jump in, you go and you're done. It's over. It's done. You can't survive in it because it's just too strong. Make sure you know what you're doing. If you're going to start a business, whether it's janitorial service or whether it's mowing or anything else, car wash and detail, make sure you have knowledge in the field. Don't just jump head first. I'm going to go wash cars. I think I'm a good car washer. Are you really? Find out everything you need to know. YouTube's a great place. Hey guys, I went a little long in this video, but I think this video is so important for 2017. Understanding that motivational, like jump, that message was so good. You got to jump. But Steve Harvey went 3 years homeless, lived in a car. But now look at him, John. But what I'm saying is not everybody's Steve Harvey. Not everyone is going to make that jump and come home with you. When I was 12 years old, one of my good friend's brother never came home that day. He made the jump. He never came home that day. He's still missed today. I'm sure there's not a week that goes by my friend doesn't think about his brother and wished that we would have made a different decision that day or he wouldn't have jumped in. I don't want you to make that decision that's going to affect you for the next 10 years. It's going to take you 10 years to get out of that decision. Some people go balls to the wall. I've seen it happen around here. They get in here, they know people, they get investors, and boom, they're the next biggest thing. They got the enclosed trailer, they've got the mowers, they've fertilized, they're everything. And 5 years later, they're wiped off the mat. You don't hear another thing from them. Also, you see them in the gambling joints, and they're all washed up because they jumped and had no way out, didn't know that the current was too strong, and the circumstances was just beyond them. So in this video, I want you to be able to come home in 2018. I want you to be able to have the business that you want to have. I want you to have the goals and the dreams that you want to set forward, because there's going to be a time for you to jump. I don't want you to jump because Johnny Moe said jump. I don't want you to look at me jumping 40 feet off down a path, running and jumping out to clear that one rock. And look so fun, because I've been through some things and my jump is different than your jump looks right now. You need to sit on top of the 25-foot waterfall. Do I know how to swim? Okay, check 1. Do I know what's down there? Okay, check 2. Is there a way to get out of here as soon as I'm done? Is the current susceptible for me to jump? These are questions that you have to ask. I believe this video is going to help you. I believe that this video right now is helping you. And it's confirmation right now, because you're uneasy about a situation. You're uneasy. You're like, should I do it? I don't know. Should I do it? Listen, I worked for a company probably at least 7 years. I believe, I'm going to check my records, but at least 7 years before I made the final jump into Johnny's Mowing. Johnny's Mowing, I don't think was jumped into to 2001 or 2002. Like, I worked for another company because I didn't make enough money. It wasn't until 98 that I really decided that, boom, this is going to be it. I had like 4 lawns. I'm like, I can make money at this. Let's go. Let's try it out, Just get our feet wet. What was I doing? I was looking at the circumstance. I was looking at the water. Is there enough customers for me to get? Maybe you're sitting here and you're looking like, well, maybe you should go out while you have a job and test the waters. Let's test to see how deep the water is. Let's see if the current's right. Let's just get a couple lawns. Let's get a couple lawns. Let's test. Is there a market for my service? Is there can I make money at this? Is there a possible way that I can build it and live off of it? I think it's a great thing to do. It's not being caught. It's being smart. Because my friend did not come home that day when I was 12. He jumped into water. He probably didn't even know how deep it was. He probably thought it wasn't that deep right there. He went down and never came up. I don't want that for you. I didn't want that for him. But I definitely don't want that for you either. I don't want you to jump into something because we told you to. And whoosh, I'm going after it. And then all of a sudden, you don't make it. And you're wondering what happened. It's because you jumped too soon. Or you jumped without knowing the circumstances. That's my time. This is Johnny Moe. This is my video to you for 2017. I believe it's going to help you. I believe it's going to put you on the right path to have success in 2017. And I hope that 2017 is your best year ever. And I pray for you for that to happen. In Jesus' name, amen.